The Play is the Thing, with your host, Judy Sleed. Today's color-coordinated guest, Russell Blue, an architect who will be building up my mom. She doesn't really need a lot of building up though, Russ, so take it easy, okay?
I will.
Take it away, Mom.
What a lovely introduction. Hello, Russell. Finally, I got you on the chair.
That's right. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yes, and I'm so happy because you are so good looking. I like to get good looking people on my chair
It's very nice of you to say,
because more people are looking that way.
for sure.
But the most interesting thing is, I have no idea. I don't know anything about architecture. What does the architecture do?
Well, it involves planning for structures that we're going to build or renovate or add on to.
You're walking around with a pencil in your hand, so anytime you have an idea, you could write it down.
Sometimes. I don't always walk around with a pencil in my hand.
No?
No.
So you could just get something in your head, like you want to build a house, and then you just make a sketch. You said, okay, let's build a house.
Yes, we use sketches. I do a lot of preliminary work on a computer 3D model. They've made it very easy to use these days. So I don't do a lot of hand sketching. I do use a lot of computer sketch. It's a program called SketchUp.
Yeah. And other than a house, do you also build bridges?
I haven't done any bridges to this point, but I would rule it out. Yeah, I would need an engineer to work with me. But yes,
That is always such like an intricate thing. How do those bridges stand up?
that's where the engineers come in. We design the shape of the form, and then we turn it over to.
Did you ever go down in the water to experience?
Oh, you mean for bridge purposes? No.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Not yet.
Now, people who do that, they probably have to know how to swim, right?
Absolutely, a big swimmer.
Big swimmer. So where do you do most of you, or where have you been doing most of your work?
Most of my work is here in the Hamptons. I started doing some work in Miami Beach about 2 years ago. So I started doing work in Florida, but the majority of my work is here in the Hamptons.
Do you have a lot of assistants?
I do. I have about a half a dozen people most of them work remote, but I have plenty of people around. I have a couple in Florida. I have a couple here. I have a couple in the city.
And I understand you went to Atlanta lately?
Atlanta?
No?
I don't think so. Savannah,
Huh?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yes.
Isn't that Atlanta?
Well, I wasn't in Atlanta. Savannah. So it's a very.
Savannah,
Yeah.
that's who I meant.
That's okay.
Savannah, it's a very
It's a wonderful town.
interesting city. I read a book about it.
Yeah, it's got a great history, and it's really a really quaint, charming city with a great.
Are those buildings different than from
Yeah.
what you usually do?
Yep, it's a southern, vernacular, and it has it has some Spanish influence, some English from settling, but it's different than up here. The weather is different, so it's not as much wood used. It's a lot of brick and masonry.
Would you say they are stronger?
Well, if you're not building in wood and you're using brick and concrete, it is stronger, for sure.
Where you from?
from the South Shore of Long Island. Grew up pretty close to Kennedy Airport in Nassau County.
In Nassau County.
did.
Which town?
5 towns. I grew up in Woodmere.
Woodmere?
Yep.
I used to live in Baldwin.
Very close. I did not know this.
Yeah. You went to school there?
Went to Lawrence High School.
Oh. And you went to elementary school and high school and college.
I did. I went to Pratt in Brooklyn for architecture.
That's a famous.
Yeah, one of the better schools.
What made you choose architecture?
It's a good question. I would say that my father was an interior designer, and it seemed to also, that's related to the architect, and it seemed like it would let me function professionally in the art world as well. So it was always an interest of mine to be, in that field.
Did you ever work with him?
A little bit. He was kind of finishing up when I started, so at some point I lived where he worked, and that was about as close to working together. Once in a while we did do. So he did a lot of showrooms, interior design. So I did work with him.
I see. And you had a lot of friends with the same interest?
Yeah, from architecture school, absolutely. Yeah, I've kept friendly with some of them. We get together every now and then.
Mhm.
In fact, there was a reunion in Rome last May that I didn't go. I was just too busy to go. I just couldn't grab away.
Most of the time when I interview people, they tell me they come from like the other side of the world. But since you just came so close by, where did he come from, your parents?
My father grew up in Brooklyn. My mom,
Really?
yeah, my mom grew up in Brooklyn also.
My gosh, there's no foreign blood in you.
Wow, that's not true. That is not true.
Do you have any foreign blood?
Well, we're, I think, originally part of Poland and Eastern Russia.
Oh, but that's far away.
Yeah.
And you have never even learned anything about, I'm not even talking about the language, but the history.
Yeah, I don't have a good, strong hold on the history of my family. No. I know a town that I remember my grandmother mentioning, but that's about it. I don't have the roots.
You figured, oh, the hell with it. I'm true American. Very few people could say that, especially people who I interview.
Well, then I'm special, I guess, right?
Yes, very. And where did you get that gorgeous curly hair?
I think that's my mom's influence, I think. See, my father's side did not hold on to their hair very much.
And you don't have to curl it every morning.
Just a towel, that's it.
Wow. A lot of people would be jealous.
I guess.
Is that how you got your wife? Your hair attracted her to
I don't know. We met in high school.
Is that right?
We went to the prom together, and then we went our separate ways for a while, about 10 years.
You met in high school, and then you went to separate ways.
Yes, we went to, in the beginning we were in the same college, but we did not go together, and then we both moved to different colleges, and then I lost track, and then about 10 years after high school, I got a phone call from my current wife, and she was setting up the 10-year high school reunion, and that's when we reconnected.
You got a phone call from home?
From her.
Oh, from your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're married a long time?
Yeah, it'll be 32 years
Wow,
this July, this next month.
very local. Yeah, and you have a beautiful son,
We do.
and he also is a native.
He's a native. He grew up in the city for the first 7 years. So he was formed in the city, and then we moved out after 9/11, really. After the World Trade Center. I mean, I had been coming out to the Hamptons since the 80s. I came out, originally my father said, come on out, you play some tennis.
Where did you live in the city?
Murray Hill, many years.
Where?
Murray Hill. It's the east side, Midtown.
I'm not familiar with Murray Hill.
Well, it's a fairly hot neighborhood now. It was.
I lived all over the city, but I don't think I have ever lived in Murray Hill. I lived in Queens,
Mhm.
different parts of Queens, and Brooklyn, Manhattan.
Right.
Somehow I escaped Murray Hill.
Murray Hill was like 34th to 42nd from
Oh.
5th to the east side, to the East River.
Yeah. I I had several apartments on the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side.
Nice. How many years did you live in the city?
In the city, I don't know, about 10 years, and I learned all the transportation. I was very good with taking buses and subways and walking. I used to love to walk because it was so easy. It was easy to get around in the city.
Sure.
Yes. So you said you came here to Watermill.
We came to Watermill in 2003. We moved
Did
out
you-
here in 2002, full time.
You you inherited that house?
No. No, we bought it.
It was, from what I hear, it was an old house.
It's an old house. It's on the water though, which is always nice. And,
On the water.
it's on Mill Creek.
Oh, do you take a bath in there?
I would not do that. There's good fishing though. There is good fishing.
Really? And can you eat the fish?
Mm,
No.
not really. It's mostly big carp that they've still been trying to get rid of for
Yeah.
many years. Good animals though. Good birds.
Mhm. So, do you have any other hobbies besides your job?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still playing tennis and softball. Walk a lot.
You used to take part in that yearly ball game.
Yeah, the Artist Riders. I've been playing in that for about 25 years, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm still playing.
What is it? That was like the riders and
Yeah, the artists play against the riders. We get
artists
most
and
of the
riders.
locals.
Yeah.
They bring in a couple of ringers every now
Did
and then.
you did you ever win?
Yeah,
Did
we
you-
won. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They don't do that
We had to
anymore.
let the riders win last year.
Oh.
They'll disagree with that, but they were down like 17 runs in the last
Oh,
inning.
yeah, a lot of well-known people
Yeah,
played in that.
Absolutely. Many.
Yes.
You get visited by Bill Clinton and some of the Supreme Court justices. And
Yes, I remember when he threw out the first ball,
yeah,
and they don't do that anymore.
well, they still. Bill Clinton umped last year for about 2 innings.
Last year he did that too.
Mhm.
Well, of course, when people get older, they just step out.
Right. Well, you know what? He umpired before when he was governor, and now he umped last year after it's probably 20 years or something like that.
And your wife, Sarah, is involved in some charity work.
She does great work for Ellen's Run and Maureen's Haven, which is one of my
And
pet.
you help her sometimes.
Well, Maureen's Haven is an ongoing homeless program, and we reach out to them and try to keep them safe and shelter them in the winter. And Sarah and I are both on the board of directors there.
I did that once in a while, and also more in Ellen's Run.
Sure. Sure, we're still helping Ellen's Run also. There's a few other organizations, Wounded Warrior, where we participate in, and the LGBT benefits and things like that.
So you do a lot of good for the neighborhood,
We try to do our part, yes.
and you're very enterprising. So what else do you have? Do you think you would like to do?
I'd like to do work in some other places. I'd love to do a project in Rome. I spent almost a year abroad in Rome studying when I was in architecture school, and I became
Did you
friendly.
say Rome?
Yeah, Rome, Italy.
Italy?
Yeah. And
Why?
well, it was just it's a wonderful city, and I became good friends with somebody that I'm still friendly with now. That's going on 25 years, 30 years.
Just so happens I was in Rome in my younger years.
Uh-huh. Great, what a great town. I mean, really.
Yeah.
The best part was I owned a car while I was there, so it's a craziness. I mean, it's still crazy because they park anywhere, but you know,
You could park anyway.
wherever the car fits.
It's very easy to pick up the language.
Yeah, I have still a working knowledge of Italian. I mean, I can get by.
Dove,
not great.
Dove Città. Dove, it means where Città
city.
is. Actually, I lived in Cinecittà.
Oh, sure. By the coast, yeah.
That used to be, before it became a movie capital,
Right.
it was a DP camp.
Displaced persons?
Huh?
Is that displaced persons?
Yeah, DP, yeah. I lived there when I was, I was quite young. I was in my 20s.
Me too. Me too. I traveled all over. I hitchhiked, I drove, I flew. I spent a year based out of Italy, but I got to Paris, and I went to Helsinki and Norway and Germany. I covered a lot of ground. Turkey.
And I'm sure we have seen the Colosseum
Sure.
and Pompeii.
Pompeii, yeah. Herculaneum and Pompeii, yes.
Yeah, wasn't that a fascinating
It
place?
really is. You know, my lasting impression of that was going into a building, and they have the counter with the cutouts for the food, like soup, that we still have today. That's like
Yeah.
3,000 years ago.
Yeah, what impressed me is that, like a nanny was covering the baby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Frozen in time.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's where I sailed from Naples. You must have sailed from Naples.
I didn't do much. I took a few ferries from Italy to like Capri and Sicily. Well, you don't need a ferry for Sicily, but
Did you ever try to write a book about
I would like to.
travels?
I would like to write a book, period, really.
Yeah, I think you
Struggle
have
for
a
the
lot of
time to do that.
experience, huh?
I struggle for the time to do it, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, lately I've been reading a lot of fiction, not fiction, real stories that people
Oh,
have.
like documentary books.
It
kind of
was.
thing?
I find it very interesting.
Well, that's like the truth is the best stories usually. You know, fiction's overrated.
As a matter of fact, my life story is coming out, and
That's great.
what
So
is
you
it?
wrote the book. You wrote a book.
Oh, I had written a children's book.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Did you read it?
I saw it. I don't know if I read the whole thing. I looked at the picture.
I'm going to quiz everybody who said, "Oh yeah, I read it. It's great." I said, "What was it about?"
Right.
My grandson says it's a page turner.
Ooh. Fast page turner?
It's yeah, I always forget the name of that Jeff. What is the name of that movie that's made?
I don't know.
Your wife was in it.
The one that my son made?
Huh?
The one that my son made, you mean?
No, not the one you. It was about me. It was a true story about my life.
Oh.
And your wife was in it. She partook in it.
Oh, okay.
She told everybody how wonderful I am.
Well, she was not lying, that's for sure.
No, I told her what to say. Yes. And your son made a movie, who just finished a movie?
He's made a couple of movies now. I mean, he's been an actor since he's 10. And
He's an actor.
yeah, actor, but he's now a filmmaker. I would not say just an actor. He's still acting, but he's also making films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting field, making a movie, because I just watched on television, they were showing how they make movies.
Well, he's learned, he used to be in front of the camera, now he does some of that too, but he's now,
Yeah, how they make movies, how they make it, and how they take things out, how they put things in, and how they arguing about which shot is better.
right.
We just see the finished product, but it's a lot goes into it
Oh, right, I
while you're
forgot.
making it.
I forgot that you were making that movie. That was Christian.
And of course, you never know if it's going to be a hit or not. And when it's a hit, everybody, hey, like, look at that, it became a hit.
I get it.
So we have just a few minutes left. And we could talk about, I think what you could do is write a travelogue. You
For my
said,
book, you mean? For my book.
yeah, for your book. You said you don't have much time.
Well, I mean, when I start to slow down, maybe I will do that, but I don't have the time right now to write a book.
But to me, it seems like you're never working because you're
Whoa.
always.
I feel like I'm always
see
working.
you at functions.
I know. I mean, I was up till 5 this morning finishing something.
Oh. I see a lot of functions with Sarah.
Yes, we do try to socially
Yeah.
move around.
You have to show yourself around.
Sure. You have
Yeah,
to
you
take
have
time
to-
out to do
You
the.
have to tell people, hey, I'm here, I'm still here.
I'm still here. That's right.
Yes. Yes, a lot of things are happening here in the Hamptons, and
Yeah, prime
there's a
time.
lot of art here. So anybody who comes out here, they could never be bored, especially during the summer.
I agree with that.
During the winter, it's
It's changing a little bit, but it's still got charm in the off season. What's left of the off season?
Yeah. Do you like the ocean?
I do. I'm not a big swimmer in the ocean because Jaws ruined that for me about 35 years ago, or 40, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I used to go in the ocean all the time. Now I'm not.
I
not a big
never
ocean guy.
like to go to the ocean.
I like to look at it.
I find it scary.
Well, only if you're in it, right? I'm saying I like to watch the ocean. I don't. These days, I'm not really
I
spending.
love to swim, but I need a pool.
Right.
Pool. I could stay in the pool all day, but not the ocean, because a couple of times I went in there and I was swimming and it looked like I didn't move any place because the waves just kept me back.
Right.
So I hurried up and I went to the sand.
I get it. Yeah, I'm not a big ocean guy. I'm more of a pool guy these days.
Yeah. And you never owned a boat.
No, I have a small thing in my backyard, but I would
Is,
not call
is
it a
that
boat.
in the future?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No? Maybe you could sail from here to Italy.
That would be great, but I don't see it. I don't see that happening. Too much work. That's a lot of work on your
How about
back.
a rowboat?
That's what I have, a rowboat.
You have a rowboat.
It doesn't move though. Just stays
Oh.
where it is.
How about Dylan? Does he like the ocean?
Yeah, he got it. I think he had a captain's license. I believe he did that. So he could technically steer a boat.
Well, one time you could just take a family vacation, the three of you. Sarah, Dylan, and Russell.
Yeah, I like that
And
idea.
then make sure you have a white rag to hold up in case.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was a terrible thing. That when those people went to look for the Titanic.
Oh, the Titanic?
drowning.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, somebody was smart. One of them didn't go because he thought it was not safe.
Yeah, and it costs so much money, and
No.
no matter how much money you have, you never know.
Right. And I also heard that the father and the son were
Yeah.
together because she wanted to let him go. She was going to go.
She wanted to let him go.
She was supposed to go, and then
Oh.
they decided to let her go.
Okay, I don't think then, and there's no more. That's the end.
Well, thanks for having me.
If you want to tune in again, you have to start all over.
Thank you, Judy. I appreciate it.